Hello and welcome to my channel, the Fuck Trauma Podcast. Thank you for listening. So I said in a previous episode that actually one of the beautiful things about setting boundaries is that you actually don't need to communicate them, and you realize that when you get to a secure attachment style. As an anxious attachment style, I thought I had to always communicate my boundaries. I thought I had to send texts all the time, long texts, communicating. And this is one big thing that I see with my anxious attachment community. And believe me, I did it myself. Is like, we send these long texts about our feelings and we don't communicate what we actually need. We're not clear in it at all because we don't know what we actually need. And this is why, if you work with me at any of my programs that I have, Anxious Secure, it's like there's always like modules on needs because it's so important to know that. And the needs part comes before the boundaries part and before the communication, because it makes it so much easier to set boundaries if you are going to communicate them by knowing what your needs are. But just to be clear, you don't even need to communicate them sometimes. And one thing that I think we struggle with is show it, like you can set a boundary with your actions. And I really think this is one of the most powerful things and one of the things that I've learned to do. But I did struggle with this when I was an anxious attachment style, but I'm going to explain to you what I mean by this. So, first of all, delete the long text that you have stored in your notes app, that you want to send to them, telling them you did this and you made me feel like this and blah, 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 blah. Like, I know, I've done it, I've been there, and, you're thinking, should I send it or not? This is like, how does this work out for you guys? Because this didn't ever work out for me. I never got the validation I needed. I never got the reassurance. And I know now, because I work so much with anxious attachment style, and obviously I was one, that like the way that we communicate actually just ends up sabotaging us rather than getting us what we need. And we don't mean to do it. I know we don't mean to do it. We just don't know another way. We don't know another way, which is why I teach the other way. So one thing I just want to share with you is like, if you are sending a message to say, let's just use the example of lateness, you know, I don't like, you're always late. You don't make me feel like a priority. Obviously, the text is a lot longer than that because we all know it's padded out. But basically, it's along the lines of you're always late. You don't make me feel like a priority, for instance. But there you are sitting waiting for them, but they're always late. But you're there sitting waiting for them, but you're communicating that you're almost nagging at that point. You're saying, you know, you did this and you make me not feel like a priority. This is the problem, because you're not making you like feel like a priority. And this is the biggest problem that I had to learn as an anxious attachment style when I moved to a secure attachment. It's like, we're allowing a lot of this behavior to happen, and you know we have to take responsibility for that, because actually it's us that are not making ourselves the priority. And yeah, they may be late, great, that's not ideal, and I'm not advocating for that at all, but we're sitting there waiting for them. And if we're just going to keep saying over and over again, you did this, you did this, you did this, but I'm accepting it, that is all you're communicating. So I want to share with you a story. When I was dating someone at some point, a guy, and I was a secure attachment at this point, and they were consistently late. Now, what I want to say with this is that um this was just their way. Like, they were like this. There's lots of, I know that so many people see this as like, this is so disrespectful, and I don't like it personally. Although I will say that sometimes I'm a late person too. So but it's not ideal, and I get that. But some people really just, it's just not a big deal to them, and I get that. So it was nothing about me. I knew it wasn't personal to me. This person made it very clear how they felt about me. But they just happen to have this really bad habit of being late all the time, and it just got on my nerves. And I tried to do the whole thing of like, making up a joke about it. I tried to be stern, making up a joke about it. Like I tried to nag, I tried to do all these things, and it just really didn't change anything. And I was like, you know what? No, because I'm the fool that is sitting here waiting, saying I don't like you being late, but I'm gonna accept it anyway because I'm here waiting for you. So you can just come at any time. And so I decided, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And this one day, I just politely messaged and said, hey, I'm so sorry, but I think it's a bit too late for me now. We're going to have to reschedule. That was it. Now, that was it. I didn't say, hey, how dare you be late? You did this, you're late. And don't get me wrong, when I was an anxious attachment style, I totally would have done that. But I didn't do any of that. I just kept the focus on me, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, but I'm it's a bit late for me. Do you see it's about me? Me. It's a bit late for me, and we'll just have to reschedule. Kind, sweet, lovely. And I actually didn't even address the lateness at all, but the message was loud and clear. And I think they messaged back something like, I'm on my way, I'm coming now, I'm literally coming now. And I was like, oh no, so sorry, let's do another time. And this wasn't obviously the exact wording because it was years ago and I cannot remember, but I know it was along these lines. And I was like, oh no, so sorry. Like I felt like no, no, just no. Like, no, I'm gonna prioritize me. I didn't have anything else going on. I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night. I was at home, but I didn't care. I didn't care. I had enough, and I decided that I had to prioritize me because I'm not having this. So yeah, I was sweet and kind. I didn't even say anything about what they've done or how they've made me feel. I didn't say any of that. I just simply said, I'm so sorry, but it's too late for me. They felt terrible. They felt terrible, and they were like, please, how can I make it up to you? Can I see you tomorrow? Please, can I make this up to you? Please, like, and so yeah, they were never late again because they got the message. They got the message without me having to spell it out that, if you want to be in my energy, if you want to be around me, you got to be on time. Like, otherwise, you're just not going to get to be around me. It's that simple. So actually, I didn't need to verbalize and be like, you did this and you made me feel like this, and please don't do this, and blah, 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 blah. I just simply removed myself from the situation because it wasn't working for me, and I prioritized me. And in turn, it sent the message that if you want to be around me, you have to prioritize me too. And it's not even about prioritizing, you just have to, because it's not that I didn't feel like I was a priority, I just feel like they had this bad habit. And so I just, you just have to turn up on time, because if you don't turn up on time, then I'm going to have no problem with rescheduling. And then you're going to miss out because I'm a hoot. I'm a hoot to be around, and who wouldn't want to be around me? But obviously, with an anxious attachment style, I would never, ever have been able to do that. I used to have the same situations where they were late all the time, and I would be there and I'd be cheesed off. It's so funny. I hate the word cheesed off. It's such a funny word. But anyway, I felt compelled to use it right then. Um, I'd be cheesed off, completely cheesed off, in an absolute bad mood when they got there, feeling really annoyed, feeling really resentful, feeling like, oh my God, they just don't bloody care. They're not prioritizing me. I'd be like, it just wouldn't have been fun, right? And I would have been so annoyed by the time they got there. It changed the whole mood and everything. But I would have done it, and I would have done it over and over and over again. I would have nagged. I would have tried to say the jokes. I'd have, tried to be like, can you be on time this time? Can you do this? Can you do that? Like, I'd have done all that. And it didn't get me anywhere, guys. But this got me somewhere. This got me exactly where I needed to be, just simply prioritizing me. So that is the difference, guys. There is no point saying, hey, you're not prioritizing me, I don't like this, but I'm going to accept it. Instead, just don't accept it. Don't accept it. And in turn, the message is loud and clear. But I know it's hard because, you know, as an anxious attachment style, we want to be liked and we want to be loved, and we fear that if we set a boundary, then they're not going to like us and love us anymore. But actually, they end up respecting you 100 times more because you're respecting you. But I know it's hard because you have these beliefs. So just get rid of these beliefs now, guys. Like, they don't, it doesn't need to be that way. Like, and actually, one thing I say to my clients is, what would you do if you didn't have this fear? So, you know, for instance, you might fear setting a boundary in at that time, or you might even fear. So I'll be honest, like, you know, I used to think if I don't keep myself available for someone, then they're not going to ask to see me again, or they're not, you know, they're not going to be that bothered about seeing me. What? Where was I putting myself that on that pedestal? Like, I was not on the pedestal at all, you know, like as if it was an option to see me. It's, of course, you know, we should be thinking about ourselves as the bloody prize. Of course they want to see us, right? But that was not my mindset back then. And so I'd keep myself available. And what did that do? It didn't do anything, because no, it just didn't do anything at all. So just like, ask yourself, what would you do if you didn't fear that they're not going to ask to see you again, that they're not going to leave you or not like you? What would you do? Because, you know, you'd probably do the opposite of what you actually do. And what you probably find is that if it was somebody else, you wouldn't think twice about doing it. And it's only because you have them on a pedestal. And sometimes it's as simple as, if it's in a romantic relationship, what would you do if it was someone that you didn't see as that important and that you haven't put on the pedestal? Because that's what you should be doing. You should be putting you on the pedestal and making you the most important and prioritizing you. And when you do that, I promise that's when they do it too. But this is just your anxious attachment style. It is sabotaging you. It's making it hard for you to set boundaries. It's making it hard for you to command the treatment that you deserve, and you really do deserve it. So definitely check out my masterclass, my free masterclass, if you haven't already. Stop sabotaging relationships with anxiety. It will definitely explain it more as to how you're doing this and why you're doing this. So check it out. And if you are waiting to work with me, then the Secure Mastermind is enrolling now for the end of May, beginning of June, and this will likely be the last chance to work with me live. So if you are considering it, I would definitely jump on that. Send me a message if you have any questions, and I will see you again.